Hey, I'm Bethany.
And I'm Carly, and we are Bethany and Carly.
Yes, we are. Okay, today Carly is going to share her coming out story. So I'm going to be asking her a few questions, and she's going to kind of just answer them and share her story with us.
Yes.
All right, hop right into it.
We'll hop right in.
Right in.
We'll hop right on in.
All right.
Okay.
First question. Have you always dated women?
No. Before I came out, I was in a really long-term relationship, actually, with a boy that I met when I was in high school. And we met through all of our mission trips and Christian camps that we went to during the summer. And we dated all through high school and all through college, actually. So he and I were pretty serious. We were planning a future together, and it was going to happen. Things were going to happen between him and I, but deep down I was not happy. I was very depressed. My needs weren't being met. Obviously, I was not physically attracted to him, and I just kind of kept telling myself that this is what I was supposed to do, and this is how I was supposed to live my life, because this is what I was taught, and this is how I was brought up. So I just suppressed my feelings that I had for women and my questions that I had about my sexuality, and I just didn't deal with them. I just didn't pay attention to them because I was afraid. So I went along with this relationship, and I was going to plan a future with this boy until one day I just decided to be brave and to be honest with myself and him, and I told him that I can no longer be in a relationship with him because I actually have attractions to women and want to pursue that. So that was the end of that. So he was really the only boy that I dated. I casually dated boys when I was younger, like at the beginning of high school and such, but he was a serious relationship for me. That's it.
Okay. Was it difficult for you to come to terms with your sexuality?
Yes. It was difficult because like I mentioned before, I was really scared. I grew up in a really conservative family. I was raised by my aunt and uncle, who are super conservative Protestant Christians, and the idea of even dealing with that piece of myself and coming out to my family petrified me. I was very scared, so coming to terms with that, I also had to come to terms with the possibility of losing my aunt and uncle and my cousins. So that was rough. But other than that, I mean, I was okay with it internally. That was just a fear of mine that kind of held me back a little bit.
So how old were you when you began the coming out process?
Internally, myself, I think it always was something that I struggled with, back and forth since I was a teenager, kind of wondering what these feelings that I had for my friends were, what these attractions I had towards women were. I didn't really deal with them until I was in my 20s. And when I was at college, I actually went to a Baptist college. I went to Eastern University, and there I kind of was introduced to the world of gay Christians and the idea that it's okay and that there's a community of such out there. So there I began to kind of do some self-reflection, but I didn't come out until I was around 23. I came out to my siblings, my biological siblings. I had mentioned I was raised by my aunt and uncle, but I have a beautiful relationship with my siblings. They are my best friends, so I came out to them first around 23.
Okay. And how did your family respond to you coming out?
My siblings were fantastic. They actually, for the longest time in my family, it was kind of like a joke. Like, Carly, when are you going to come out? Like, just tell us that you're gay, like you and your best friend, like, come on, like, you're gay. And I would be like, no, I'm not. I'm going to marry this boy. And it was a joke, ongoing joke. So when I came out, my siblings were relieved because they knew that I was being honest with myself, and they were happy, and they cried, and they were really excited for me. They asked a lot of good questions. I have nieces and nephews too, who range from, like, when I came out, they were like 6, all the way up to teenagers. So they asked a lot of good questions, and I have never had a problem with my siblings. They've always wrapped their arms around me and have accepted my girlfriends and have been great, but unfortunately I did lose that relationship with my aunt and uncle that I feared so much. They didn't want to talk about it. I came out to them, and they were okay with it that day, and then I left, and that day was the last time I really talked to them. They didn't return my phone calls, they didn't answer me when I called or text messaged them or anything. They kind of distanced themselves. My cousins as well. My one cousin, my aunt's daughter, and I still communicate, and she's been very open to the idea and has been accepting, so I'm thankful for that. But I really lost the relationship that I had with my aunt and uncle.
And how are your relationships with them now?
Over the years, I've done a lot of personal forgiveness, and I've gone through my own journey in how I want my relationships to look and who I want in my life. And I've come to terms with the fact that I forgive my aunt and uncle for completely shutting me out. And I know that everyone has their own process and their own way of accepting and dealing with things. And I just figured, hey, maybe they just needed some time. So I reached out to them just a few months ago, actually, with Bethany's help and encouragement. And I reached out to my aunt, and we started talking again, which is great. It's very basic conversation. It's not anything extravagant, and I'm not, jumping up and down for joy that we're best of friends again, but it's a start, and we're getting there. We're making progress. So it does get better over time, I think. I have hope. So, but my siblings they're waving their gay pride flag around right now, probably. So they're always awesome.
All right, so what's been the hardest part of your coming out journey?
The hardest part, I think, is the twofold for me, is coming to terms with my faith and my sexuality, and losing my aunt and uncle as my parental figures in my life. That was really difficult because I actually physically lost my mom and dad. My mom and dad died when I was young. So then having to emotionally lose my aunt and uncle in this process was really difficult for me. And then trying to kind of find a good balance between my faith and my sexuality and trying to mesh that together. Still something that we're figuring out today, even. I mean, it's not something that is simple and easy and that can be, dealt with simply. So those, I think, have been the two hardest things, and they still are pretty hard.
Do you have any advice to anyone thinking about coming out or dealing with coming to terms with their sexuality?
I think my best advice is to take your time and to come out when you're ready, because coming out is tough. Coming out is not something that is easy for everyone, and I know that it hasn't been easy for my friends, and it hasn't been easy for me either. So come out when you are ready and when you know it's best for you, and make sure that you have a support system behind you, because that is what has gotten me through all of this, having friends and family members and people that I can go to when I'm having a hard day or when I don't really know what to say. Turning to YouTube even has been something that I know Bethany has used and I have used in my coming out journey, just seeing how other people have dealt with it. So make sure you have those people around you when you're ready, and just go in there and be strong and be ready to feel a sense of relief, because that was kind of what I was scared to do, but after I came out, it did feel good in a sense. So take your time and do it when you're ready, and make sure you have a good group of people to support you at the end. So that's my advice.
All right, so I think that's pretty much it. So
yeah.
Is there anything else?
Yes.
Last words?
No, thank you guys for letting me share my story, and if you have any questions pertaining to my coming out story, feel free to leave comments below, and I will definitely answer them. And I know Bethany will be sharing her story eventually too, so if you have any questions that you want her to answer, feel free to also leave them in the comments below too. But thank you guys for listening and for subscribing to our channel.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We do. We appreciate it.
And hopefully we'll have more videos coming soon.
Yes.
And I have a video from visiting my
Yeah.
brother in
We're going
Ohio.
on a road trip this weekend, so we'll be posting some footage of that trip soon as well.
Yeah. So I think that's it.
That's it.
Thank you for watching, and
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you guys later.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.